But how is our winter looking? We wanted to ask that of Chief Meteorologist Chris Vickers, and he gives us a look right now.
The winter season can stir a lot of emotion. Love it or hate it, we're going to be talking snowfall in our winter weather outlook. Now, the WTOL 11 weather team is going to be diving very deep into the data to determine how much snow we may be expecting this winter season, how long winter may be lasting, and just how cold this winter season may end up being. Now, to do that, we need to look at the data, and we're going to start with the global atmospheric circulation known as La Nina, and how this is going to be impacting our winter weather across the United States as we go into the upcoming winter season. So the maps, this is what it's going to be showing us. In a typical La Nina winter, that means it's cooler than average equatorial waters off the Pacific Ocean of South America. Now that matters because it alters the global circulation of our jet stream, including the polar jet stream. We get more frequent blocking high pressure systems in the North Pacific, which allow that polar jet stream to more often bring colder than average air down into the northern tier of the United States. A La Nina winter also typically results in warmer and drier than average weather across the southern tier of the country. Now, in between that polar jet stream, though, there's an area across the Great Lakes region that favors more frequent bouts of precipitation and a more active storm track, resulting in wetter than normal conditions. This is something that's going to factor big into our winter weather forecast. Now, we are also in the Great Lakes region, home to the Great Lakes, and the lakes also influence our winter weather outlook. And we're looking toward the early portion of the winter weather season, where our lake water temperatures are all well above average after our warm autumn so far, including Lake Erie and Ontario, which are the warmest of the two Great Lakes. But this may delay at least some of the colder air early in our winter season. Now, we all have seen it and felt it, a changing winter climate. Our winters just aren't as cold as they used to be. In fact, December, January, and February all are warmer than they were just a couple decades ago, including the month of December, which is now 3 degrees warmer than it has been over the prior few decades. We've also noticed changes in precipitation patterns in our winter season. December is becoming a drier month with less snowfall and less rainfall, whereas January and February are favoring more rainfall and more snowfall through the course of the winter season. And snowfall is a big thing that we look at. So current Canadian snow cover is actually below average across parts of Lower Canada, which may limit the early season outbreaks of colder air. So we must look all the way across the globe into Siberia, where snow cover is much thicker this time of the year. This is expected to be the breeding ground of late season cold if we are able to establish what is known as a cross-polar flow. Now, to do that, we would need a split or a disruption in the polar vortex. That polar vortex is a circulation around the North Pole. When we get weaker states of the polar vortex, a split or a stretching, we allow or see that Arctic air to come out of the North Pole down into much of the Great Lakes region. This can result in some of the coldest weather that we experience over the winter season. We don't see that occurring anytime early in our winter season, but perhaps may become more common through January and into the month of February. So our overall winter weather forecast is going to be milder than average, especially to start our winter season into the month of December. As we get deeper into January and February, we may start to see some cooler than normal weather begin to edge in toward the second half of winter. That would be January into February. And overall, we're going to stick with that La Nina winter pattern. Wetter than normal conditions will be expected across much of the Great Lakes region. So our winter weather forecast for this year is going to be expected to have warmer than average temperatures. I do believe much of that may favor the month of December before turning cooler late to the winter season. We'll have wetter than average conditions, and that may pick up late in the season again. And we all know the snow is going to be falling this winter season, and we expect near normal snowfall, which is about 37 inches of snowfall over the course of the year. But similar to the past several La Nina years, we expect much of that snow may be showing up in the month of February for a colder and snowy end to the winter season.